Welcome to Classical Post, where we delve into the minds of visionary artists and innovators who are redefining classical music today. Broadcasting from New York City, I'm your host, Jonathan Eifert. Classical Post is produced by Gold Sound Media, the global leader in strategic marketing and PR for classical music, opera, and the performing arts. Join us as we uncover the inspirations, challenges, and triumphs driving the most compelling figures in the performing arts today.
I'm violinist Maria Dueñas. I'm from Spain. I'm 22 years old. And I play the violin. I started when I was around 7 years old, and it has been now almost 15 years of making music. I moved to Vienna to continue my studies. I just did my first recording 2 years ago, and my second album with the Paganini caprices will be coming out very soon. Yeah.
Let's talk about the breakthrough moment in your career. I mean, obviously, you said you're 22, so obviously very young still. But you've already done these big things and have these big record deals. Can you kind of identify that breakout moment for you?
I would say one of the most important moments starting in my career would be the Suhai violin competition, which is one of the first competition, like big competition that I won. I was only 14 years old, but I would say that was really a very important step for me, but especially the Menuhin competition, which was much more recent. I think that was really the kind of the impulse for everything starting right after that. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. If we talk about your biggest musical influences to date, who are they? I should ask first, and then how have they shaped your sound?
Well, I still remember when I was growing up that I would listen to a lot of music, a lot of violin, and for sure I was very influenced by the great masters, like the older masters, the old generation, like Heifetz, Oistrakh, Menuhin. And I remember even if I was very little, I was really impressed by the very unique sound that they have because it's a very personal way of playing. It's a very personal sound. So that was always kind of also what I wanted to achieve, kind of to be recognized by my sound. Especially by that.
If you think about a memorable or significant performance to date, do you have one or do you have a few that you could reference?
Yeah, well, there are many. I mean, I had the big honor to work with such great musicians, conductors, orchestras. Well, of course, I remember performing with Herbert Blomstedt since he's such a legend, and just being able to share the stage with him. He's such an inspiring person, an inspiring musician. So for sure, that was a very important highlight for me in my career. But also working with Dudamel for the first time was really special. I think we share a lot of similar qualities, and our personalities quite similar as well. Working with Manfred Honeck, for example, he was one of the first who really believed in me. So yeah, it's very difficult to name only one.
Now, I'd like to take a brief moment to share something personal with you. As both the host of Classical Post and the founder and creative director of Gold Sound Media, I've been fortunate to work alongside some of the most extraordinary artists in classical music, opera, and the performing arts. And one thing I've learned is that in a world brimming with exceptional talent, what truly sets someone apart is their brand, the unique impression they leave on their audience. At Gold Sound Media, we specialize in crafting that distinct brand essence. We don't just focus on logos or visuals. We delve deeper to shape how people think and feel about you as an artist. We create powerful narratives through content that resonates on a profound level, helping you forge meaningful connections and stand out in a crowded field. If you're ready to elevate your presence and distinguish yourself from the rest, I'd love to explore how we can collaborate to amplify your impact. Visit goldsoundmedia.com to learn more. Now, let's return to our conversation. Let's talk about the new album coming out in February. In fact, I was listening to some of it right here before we were getting on the recording, and it's amazing. I mean, I really felt that you have such a unique way of approaching Paganini. compared to other artists that I heard. So I think that's what stood out to me the most. I mean, obviously, when you're recording with it's Deutsche Grammophon, I believe.
Right.
So obviously, it's already such a high level, from all the other artists who have recorded Paganini on DG. But your sound and the way you approach it, your interpretation sounded uniquely different, I felt. So can you speak to, first of all, the project at large, but also to kind of that sound that you created for this album?
Mhm. Yes, I mean, well, recording the Paganini Caprices was always such a dream for me because I think it's one of these key works in violin literature. And after doing the first recording with Beethoven Concerto, I wanted to do something also as personal for me. So the Paganini Caprices have been very present in my career. I started when I was very young. Of course, first it was yeah, especially for kind of strengthening some technical aspects, but also later on, I played them at competitions. I played them at encores after concerts. So they were always a very important part of my foundation as a violinist. And what was very interesting for me and kind of my goal with this recording was to find also the musical aspect, because I think Paganini was very influenced by bel canto, by opera in this Italian um, time. So not only the technical aspect, which is of course is the center and the key point, but also as I think the audience appreciates the music very much. So I was kind of trying to combine these two aspects.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. Talk about the recording process. I mean, doing this is a big undertaking. I'm sure it was probably a draining for you at minimum. Um, um, what was it like recording this?
Well, it was yeah, it was quite complicated for sure because also I'm not always I could not always be at the studio. I also had to travel and play concerts, so it was quite challenging to kind of find like suitable recording um, timelines. But I think it was very important for me also for my technique because when I was playing the concerts also I felt this much stronger kind of technical basis. So it was kind of yeah, it took almost a year recording the whole album. And of course it's very different when you're in the studio, when you're alone recording by yourself, because my first recording was live and it was yeah, like so many other aspects involved. But when you're alone in the studio, then you kind of have to be inspired by yourself only because there is no other like inspiration around. So yeah, very challenging for sure. But I learned a lot of things about my own playing. Yeah.
That's interesting. It took a year to do this. So it wasn't like a typical recording where it's like a chunk of 3 days or something like this, and you go in and knock it out and you're done. So I mean, that's so interesting. Do you know why it ended up being a year? Is that just kind of the way production ran, or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have around 30 pieces on the album. So of course some pieces were very unknown to me, others we had to like organize with orchestra because I have like so many there are so many collaborating artists on the album, so with piano as well or with guitar. And also I mean some caprices I never played. So it was also kind of I had to like do a little plan on my mind which caprices would work at some certain period, and I would prepare for another kind of time period, another couple of them. So it was kind of very spread out. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Now, for our listeners, can you kind of name the collaborators? Which orchestra with pianists, some of these other collaborators, the conductors, that sort of thing.
Right. Yes. So I recorded three orchestra pieces with Michael Gertz and the DO Orchestra in Berlin. Yeah, two pieces by Saint-Saëns and one by Berlioz. Then I also collaborated with Alexander Malofiev on the piano. That was a contemporary piece written especially for this album by Gabriela Ortiz. Then I also worked with pianist Itamar Golan on Caprice Basque, Sarasate. After I did also a recording with Raphael Fouillatre on the guitar. It was a very nice arrangement of Chrysler Caprice. and also with Boris Kushner and Wieniawski Caprice for two violins. So it was really a very wide range of instrumental. Yeah.
Incredible. And it wasn't just Berlin. Were there other cities that you were recording in, or was just the orchestral stuff in Berlin? How did that break down?
Yeah, the orchestra parts were in Berlin and the rest was in Vienna.
And then the other parts in Vienna. Yeah, amazing. Let's kind of shift gears now and not talk about the album, but talk about your career at large. When you're looking to launch big projects, such as this, or you're thinking about the other work that you've done in the past, I'm sure you've come up against walls where it's hard to kind of break through, perhaps, or to be seen or be heard, and to see your vision, take tangible aspects. Could you speak to that? The challenges that you have faced.
Well, yeah, I think there are many, many challenges in one career, but I think that's also very important. I think when everything goes only smoothly, then you don't really kind of mature. So I think in my career, I had a lot of moments where I could really grow up. Yeah, just kind of when I was making some decisions or when I was kind of moving out of my country to study somewhere else. Um, yeah, I also think also programming new repertoire is also a very challenging aspect. I try to, of course, the most popular works I play with orchestra, and that's great, of course. But I think also lesser known works and concertos should be also planned. And I always try, for example, I will play. I played Halvorsen concerto last season, and I will play some sounds the next month, which are not as often played. So this is always something that I try to kind of integrate. Yeah.
In terms of getting the right people to see and hear you so that your career advances even more, can you speak to those challenges?
Mm. Yeah, well, I think it's important, of course, to have people that kind of help and believe in you, especially since I don't come from a family of musicians. I didn't really have any kind of contacts or kind of I just didn't know anything about this world. So of course there were some people that really helped me along the way, like Manfred Honeck, as I said before, or Spivakov, which is another conductor and violinist. Um, yeah, and I think just kind of finding your own place and your own voice and kind of having a very clear mind of what you want to do with your music. And I think just developing this very personal voice is very important to kind of find your own path. Yeah.
If we think about the career ahead, so not looking back in the challenges, but the career ahead, what kind of impact are you hoping to achieve in your career? I mean, again, at only 22, you have hopefully a long career ahead. So I'm assuming you've probably thought about this, the kind of impact that you want to make in the music world and beyond, perhaps. Can you speak to that?
Yes, well, I mean, my main goal, so to say, is very simple. It's just like sharing my music with audiences, just making people maybe a bit happier for sure, kind of inspiring. Um, but yeah, I would for sure love to discover some new repertoire, maybe also some contemporary repertoire, which I already got a bit into. But still, there's so much work for violin; it's kind of endless. But also, what I'm trying to do also like to make visible um, is kind of what I was kind of missing when I was growing up studying violin in Spain, in my country, which is um, kind of showing that someone that does not come from a family of musicians can also kind of make its way. And I think that's very important. Also, kind of trying to bring young people into the concert hall, um, just making music more accessible for all kind of audiences. For sure, that's also something that I hope I can contribute to.
This last part of the podcast is quickfire round. So let's just talk about, or I'll just have kind of these short questions and then say whatever comes to mind first. What's one talent you have that would surprise our listeners?
Understanding people's vibes and how they kind of their feelings and what they think about you.
I never heard that one from a podcast. That's fascinating. Oh, interesting. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, I would collaborate, maybe not collaborate, but I would love to meet Whitney Houston.
Ah, yes. Me too. If you weren't a musician, what other profession do you think you'd pursue?
I would love to be a ballerina then.
What's the first thing you do in the morning that helps set the tone for your day?
I read something
And
or
last,
listen to vinyl.
oh, Vina's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to start the day. Last question. What does success mean to you?
Hard work and passion.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Classical Post. If you loved it, give us a 5-star review as it helps us reach more people. Also, remember to hit that follow button in your podcast app to get notified of new episodes. Ciao, ciao.